Hi Deepa and Animesh.
Hi.
And you, congratulations on your newborn. And how old is the baby today?
3 days old.
Wow. And I guess I just wanted to have an informal sort of chat with you about not only your birth, with this birth, but generally, you have an older daughter. How old is she?
She's 22 months old.
22 months old. Amazing. And how has she taken to the newborn?
Quite amazingly. We thought like she would react, in a different way. Like she would not come close to us, but then she came and then she kissed us, she hugged her, and then she slept just beside her. So that was something, we really adored the way she saw her for the first time.
That's amazing. And she was a part of your birth journey too.
Yes.
And like she was in the pregnancy, she was your master coach,
Yeah,
no?
yes. Because he was not here till
Till about-
yeah.
I just came 3-4 days before.
Yeah. So until then, she helped me do duck walks, and then she helped me climb stairs, and then she was, assisting me do that. I think I even walked more stairs because she always wanted to be out of the room. So
I just feel like sometimes we don't understand the power of the older sibling, and I think that's one of the things that we talk about at Sanctum. That I think birth is a family event, and the more we involve the older sibling, the more we make all this seem like a part of everyday life. It's so much more beautiful.
And
no?
most importantly, during contractions, whenever I used to just like scream, or maybe I used to hold something, she used to come close to me and she used to say, Mama, and I always told her that there's a baby inside my belly. So she said, Mama, baby. And I said, yes. And said, oh baby. Then she used to come, hug me, kiss me, and then she used to give a smile. And then she used to be so close to me, and then that 1 minute contractions just went away, just looking at her, and then the way she came close to me. So I think that was one of the most beautiful part, and that's how I think I was able to manage my contractions.
Beautiful. And I feel like that will form a part of her core memory, because though she will not have a memory of your birth, there is some parts which are imprinted. So for a daughter to see mom going through something and then having a baby, I think is pretty special. So now I'm very happy that she has been a part of the journey and that you have had this beautiful birth. Well, lead us through a little bit. Where are you from? And you've come a long way to have your baby. And why did you come here in the first place?
Of course, I wanted to go for the VBAC, and then
Firstly, we are from Kolkata.
Yeah, we are from Kolkata, and then I had heard a lot of success stories about Sanctum, and first
She found it on Instagram.
Instagram. Yeah, actually, there's this very famous yoga instructor, Deepa Mehta. I used to follow her, and then I got to know about her success story over here, not natural birth. So that's how I started following Sanctum, and even during my first pregnancy, I was following, and I also wanted to come, but then I thought since everything was normal, I thought I would have a normal delivery out there in Calcutta, but then that didn't happen. So of course, I always wanted a second baby as well. So I
And
knew
she's
from
still
the
very disappointed over that.
yeah.
She still rues it could have been a normal delivery, but in the end it
Yeah.
didn't work out.
So, and since then, I was very sure that I wanted to come to Sanctum. That was my decision that I made after
The last time
yeah.
itself. And then you are the one who told about us to your brother, and they came and had a VBAC.
They
here.
had a successful VBAC, yes.
That's-
And once they were here, they're like, no, you have to come as soon as possible. I said, okay, I have 3 months time. to deliver
Their
my
backstory
baby.
is also very similar. They
Yeah.
also wanted to go for a natural birth the first time around. Didn't work out. They had the
She had a
cesarean.
very bad labor pain experience because she was induced quite early, and then she was just allowed to lie down, and she was not allowed to use the washroom. She was not allowed to roam around. So I think it was very difficult for her to manage pain while being induced. So yeah, and then when she saw the support system out here, the way she was able to move around, and then there were so many helps that she got. I think the pain management
It makes a
too good
huge difference,
option,
and she landed up having a longer labor. It was not an easy labor but she also sailed through. That's the thing I keep telling women, that pain is manageable, and I think
Yes,
you will talk about
and
that.
Yes, and my mom always told, because I was born at home, and my mom, she had a very difficult time giving birth to me. So my mom always told me that, you know, I think I almost died, and then when I survived, I feel like I got a, you know, new life. And then a few months back, even one of my friends, she delivered a baby, normal delivery, and even like she was induced, she got pain, but then she was induced, but then again I think she was just allowed to lie down on the bed, she was not allowed to move around. So even she said like, you know, I think I got a new life. So, and then she said like, you know, if you are able to bear this pain, then you can do anything in life. That's what my mom says, and that's what she also told me. And there are many other, you know, traumatic stories that I've heard regarding natural birth. Then when I came here, you know, after when the pain started also, like it was quite calm, and then the Lama's class, it was very helpful, and I was able to control the breathing, and then, you know, how to use the ball, and then the other exercise that Vega taught me.
It also gave a good understanding of what to expect.
Yes.
Because as first timers, we didn't know what to expect, when the first construction starts, and when will the last one, like the fact that it can actually go on for a long time, or whether it will be short. So that was very helpful in getting some of that knowledge.
No, I think, see, I always say that knowledge is calmness in pregnancy.
Exactly.
Power to hai, but it is calmness also, because you at least, while we all understand that labor and birth can be unpredictable, at least there is some element of the known. Na? Unknown, you go in, you submit yourself and say, "Aap kuch bhi karo," that doesn't make any sense, right?
Yes.
It feels good.
And then here, when the contractions started to happen regularly, like, you know, quite frequently, then I feel like, and then the support I got and everything was so well managed. I feel okay, this is how it's, you know, it's progressing, and I was quite, you know, I didn't feel like it's too bad or something. And then I feel like, you know, it's all natural, because it came, it went off again, it came, it went off like a wave. So I was just, you know, picturizing everything what Megha told me, like, okay, this is what is going to happen, it has reached there, it has gone down, this is how I need to breathe in, and then breathe out, breathe in, breathe out. So that progression is, you know, like contractions were there, but then I was just visualizing that. So it was like, you know, very meditative, and I could focus on, you know, each contractions very nicely, and I knew like, okay, contractions has reached this point, and then now it's going to slow down.
How
So
beautiful.
it was, yes, it was very beautiful.
Yeah, main thing is it kept you from getting panicky.
Yes. Yeah. And then, you know, the way I was able to move around, the way I was able to use a lot of props, you can say, like ball or even the, you know, railings and stuff like that. So, you know, it kept moving from one position to other. So that progression was, you know, very nice. And then even when I went into the bathtub at the last moment, it was like, you know, if had I been lying on the bed, I would be like, you know, when is this going to end? But then I never felt like that. Okay, so maybe I'm, you know, approaching the final stage, but then it's okay, we're going there. And then, you know, when she was actually born, that time I didn't even feel pain, and I was quite shocked, like, you know, I didn't even scream at that point of time. Later I realized I didn't even scream.
You were meditative.
So
it was there, you were there, and you were breathing your baby out. None of us felt like you were birthing a baby. It was just amazing.
Even I was quite surprised, like, how that happened, like, you know. And when I told my sister, like, you know, this is how I gave, but without even screaming, she was like, I think you're too disciplined, I think you were just conscious that, you know. I said no, because that consciousness doesn't come at that point of time, you know.
Yeah, and another thing I would like to add is like, since you had that idea what to expect, you were being able to control your contractions or like expect the pain. So full props to her. She was doing that very nicely enough, and she was not panicking. As a result, we were not panicking.
Absolutely.
Sometimes what happens is, more than the person experiencing the pain, the other people in the vicinity, they start to panic.
Yes.
So if she had started to panic even a little bit, we would have started to panic a whole lot more.
Correct.
And then things go in a very different direction if everybody's panicking.
Because I think we were already told not what to expect.
But the thing is, you kept yourself very calm and composed. You didn't look like you were losing it at any point of time.
So I think it's all, for me, when I watch labors after labors after labors, everybody has a way to deal with it. But I think the more you are, like, I always feel birth is a conversation between your body and your baby. Like, it's an internal conversation,
yes,
isn't it?
and in, you know, movies you say like, okay, one last push, and then I get to hear this thing, also that last push doesn't, you know, finish, like it's always going to come, okay? But then I didn't even hear one time anybody saying one push or like just push, because, and that's when I felt, okay, natural birth is something that's very natural, because you don't even have to push, because that thing comes automatically. The body automatically pushes everything and takes.
Yeah, I actually
the
mentioned
baby
that
out,
the
yeah.
birth of the baby was pretty anticlimactic. Because I was expecting like there will be this like one big push, everybody's like yeah, push, like there's something big building up, like a crescendo building up, and it happened rather very silently and quickly actually. So
She just swam out into your arms. That's what I would say,
Yeah,
right?
so-
I think it's a combination. Also, I think as a couple, being in sync with each other, like you said, the classes, and then her being calm, allowing you to be calm, and then as a support system. We often think of ourselves not just supporting the mom and baby, obviously we do, but we support the family. So there are times when the father might feel, oh my God, क्या हो रहा है, कब तक खत्म होगा? And then we oftentimes will tell the dad, okay, do you need a minute to go take a break, come back, it's okay, we are there with her. So I feel every labor has its own flavor, but yeah, I think you guys did great, really amazing job, and I think that push is in front of my eyes. Like you said, none of us were saying a thing. You were doing your own thing, and out she comes. I remember asking you, "Do you want to catch your baby?" And then she said, "I'm okay." Like you just wanted to do your own thing. No, it was beautiful. So let's step back for a moment. Talk a little bit about your first birth. What happened then? Though you were following Deepika Mehta, you said you knew we were existing. So obviously you were doing some homework at that time as well, and you felt very healthy in your body, right? So what happened during that birth?
Regarding exercise and stuff like that, everybody said you need to exercise, and obviously, like I was always doing yoga, so and that helped a lot. So until the end, I was doing yoga. I was very active, and no any such medical like things arose where complications were there that ever I felt that okay, I might have to go for a cesarean. Nothing as like of that sort. But then in the end stage. My amniotic fluid, even I didn't know about it because initially it was very much okay.
Till the 8th month, things were supposedly extremely good. So we had no issues or anything whatsoever. The doctor was also like, everything's very fine, very
calcium
fine.
and iron, that's it. Yeah. And I had gone for a regular checkup, and that's when I get to know you have to get admitted today itself because your amniotic fluid is low, and then tomorrow you'll have to go for a cesarean. So that came as a shock to me because I was never ready, and I've been telling since my first visit that I want to go for
it was a bit of a shock because like we are sitting in the doctor's chamber, we are under the assumption that everything is like going swimmingly well, and then she suddenly comes, okay, get ready, we'll get a cesarean done today.
No, I mean you get admitted today and then get the cesarean tomorrow.
So get admitted right away. We'll do it at first available spot. So that's like a shock. Like you think everything's going very well, and suddenly somebody is saying, "Okay."
And that's something I desperately wanted, to experience a natural birth. So that came as a shock. And then when we said like, no, we want to wait, because I didn't feel anything different. I think my body is doing perfectly fine. But then I'm not the best one to take the decision as well, so I wanted some kind of support. But then, so if you want to wait, you can wait. But then, we can't raise the baby. At this point of time, you have to think about your baby instead of you. So I said like, of course. But then, So anyways, then we went home. Then I think I called Sanctum also, initially also I had called, but then of course I knew it's not possible to go to Hyderabad. I thought that's going to be a very big task coming all the way from there to Hyderabad to deliver a baby. That is something very new, and even to explain to parents also I thought it's going to be difficult.
People don't expect you are living in a metro. People don't expect you to travel from one metro to another metro for something like this.
Correct.
And we didn't think that it will be such a difficult thing to.
See, that's the thing, right? When I hear these stories over and over again, everyone thinks like, हो ही जाना चाहिए ना, ये कौन सी बड़ी वाली बात है, right? But then you land up with these situations.
But it was too late to come here, because even I wouldn't be able to fly because it was.
No, at that point it is almost impossible because and that's way too much of a mental
pressure.
Pressure. That's not the time.
Yeah, so everybody has to be mentally, physically ready to accept that thing. So obviously, I called, but then of course I also felt like it's not going to be possible. Correct. But then just for mental thing that I wanted to be clear. And then again there's one more hospital in Delhi, so I called them because I was just searching for who gives who supports natural birth. And then the doctor over there, she was very calm, very nice, and she said like, maybe you can wait for 2 more days and then do another scan, and if the amniotic fluid is constant, then maybe you can once again check with the doctor and ask her to induce, or otherwise then depends on the report. So I did the same. I went and then did my scan. Then again amniotic fluid was even further low. It was initially 4.5 and then it went down to 2. So that was after like 2.5 days, you can say. So that is when then again I sent my report to the doctor, and she said, no, come here and do it immediately. And then I said, ma'am, is it still possible to do a natural birth? She said, go and find another doctor, don't come to me. And of course, like we rushed to the hospital.
Natural. No, I think the thing is 2 things. One is that sometimes these things do happen. We are not saying that fluid suddenly doesn't go down. It does happen sometimes. But when we are part of a conversation, where we are participating in informed decision making, okay, these are the pros of waiting, these are the cons of waiting. Can we do 1, 2, 3 things? Could we offer you an induction? Because at 4, an induction might have been an option. Again, this is not about me saying that this would have happened and it would have led to a normal delivery. It's just about like those conversations make you feel better, mentally prepared than just saying, wow, you're walking in healthy, now you must have a C-section tomorrow, right? And that might have given us some chance to work with it. But anyway, that being that.
But the beautiful part, what I feel today right now is, I had a cesarean.
Yes.
And then I had a natural birth. And of course, I'm in a better position to compare. And if you have a better healthcare provider, then of course go for natural, delivery. Because of course, like it's not comparable.
Yeah.
I'm not in again a position to say like if you go to any random hospital and you say okay, induce me, or just have I don't know, because again I have, like I said, I have got very traumatic stories from my friends. So, and when I ask them, they say like, are you mad? Why are you going to Hyderabad? It's going to be such a painful experience. Just like stay at your home, go do a cesarean, come and stay, because I had a natural birth, and then like I am still not ready for my second. I desperately want a second baby, but then I'm not ready mentally.
I think your husband, Animesh, you were also saying, right, that people around you are saying, okay, why? Why have a normal delivery, right?
Exactly.
Talk about that a bit.
So like we have a few friends among our circle, and like where people are like, why do you even want to bother with a natural delivery? That it's painful. So like why bother? Like go get a cesarean done. It gets over in a day. You don't have to like sit around wait for the contractions. That might go on for like who knows 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 days, and that's a whole lot of pain and. So it's like for many it's like unknown territory. So why bother go there? Why bother going there? So just go to a doctor. She'll get it out in 20 minutes. Thing done, and then you have to like take bed rest for 3 months. But for some people that is a doable thing. But I'm sure even disregarding all that, there are obviously health issues that come with a cesarean and stuff. Actually, the thinking also goes like this. Even if not for females, then I'm sure goes for some males. So like for natural birth, like how it turns out, like sometimes you have to pay extra. So since we are coming down from Kolkata, we are having to pay extra, right? Because we have to stay here and all those. So for us, it costs a bit more. If you're from Hyderabad, then it might be a different story for you. But for us, we are having to pay extra than otherwise we would have to pay for a cesarean back in Kolkata. So like you're paying extra for the pain. People usually pay extra so they don't have to experience the pain, right? So here's like, you're going exactly the opposite way. You're paying extra to feel the pain. So for some people that's difficult.
Really, I mean, that's an interesting way to think about it.
Yeah.
But I can imagine. So what would you say to that? That's what I'm saying. What about that pain?
No, but the pain right now, I don't have any pain. I'm able to walk. Like just after delivering a baby also, I was able to move around, feed her, like, do everything. So, of course, and
something like the normal delivery is something like what you call cash up front, and cesarean is like you pay in EMIs. So pain is still there, you're just paying in EMIs over an extended period of time. So
what I had to do, I have already done, and now like, you know, I can continue my, you know,
Absolutely,
daily.
and I think ultimately, jokes apart, it goes to the long-term health, and these are not one-day, two-day studies. We know that long-term health, both short-term, this is what we see now, but the long-term health of both mom and baby, we know that is far better because it's a natural process. It's like, in which other natural process would you say, "Nay, let me try. I don't want to breathe today. Let me try a ventilator instead." You know, it makes no sense to me. But good. I'm really happy. Anything else you would want to add to people who are listening, mothers, fathers out there? Anything that you would want to add in terms of not just the overall experience, but also any nuggets of wisdom you would want to give them as a new parent?
Firstly, I think you should choose a healthcare provider who are very friendly, who can, you know, listen to you, with whom you are very much comfortable to talk about anything. It can be a very silly thing or it can be a very major thing that you want to discuss. So that is something.
Yeah, because you have
That is-
like 100 different questions when you
and-
get pregnant and you're in the process. It's very important to have somebody who can, like, if not all, at least the major ones, they can answer it for you, because like we have discovered that even that is not a given. Not everybody is willing to listen and like explain. So
that was one thing, you know, while speaking to you, we felt like, you know, we had a lot of questions, okay, before, when we had an online, you know, conversation. So, and then end of the day, we were like, after the conversation ended and you asked, like, do you have any questions? We were just checking our lessons, like, no, this is answer, this is answer, this is answer, this is answer. So we didn't have anything to ask. And yeah, that's exactly what my sister-in-law told me, like, you know, the moment she spoke to you, she was like, no, I'm going there. Because even initially she had this doubt in mind, actually, like, oh no, Deepa, it's too far, I can't go. And I said, oh, just speak to her, just to confirm, is it possible or not? Is it like, is VBAC possible or not? Because out there the doctor said VBAC is not possible. So just speak to ma'am and just hear whether it's a yes or a no. Just to hear that, she said like, okay, yes. And then the moment she kept the phone, she called me, Didi, I'm going to Hyderabad. So, you know, and I think I had the same experience. So that is something very beautiful that happened with me after, you know, connecting with you.
Thank you. No, it's good. And what about physical activity? What would you talk about it? Of course, you are a yogini yourself, and how did that help you?
Especially like if I would say, like, you know, I think everybody should start yoga if possible before you plan your pregnancy, and don't start something new while you are pregnant. That is, I think, that's very important. And then continue walking, drink a lot of fluids, and I think staying active is something that's very, very important. And that is what I did, and I think that's how it helped me.
Wonderful. Anything you would want to add for the potential dad, new dads, to-be dads out there?
I think it's a minefield, getting pregnant and all the issues that come with it, and the lack of information and misinformation also that is out there is, I guess, one of the most dangerous things. So before you take any decision, don't go on hearsay, I would say, because if you go on hearsay, the amount of misinformation is huge. So just do a bit of research or just consult your like doctor or something before doing anything, because otherwise people are up to a lot of shenanigans, so which is not at all recommended. And also to actually support the wife, like, because she's going through a very important phase in her life, which will actually be like a personality marker for the rest of their lives as for the babies. So it's very important to seriously consider whatever they are saying.
Yeah. And be there emotionally present, no?
Because even I am at fault, because even when she initially said that I am thinking of like maybe taking up like going to Hyderabad for this, even my first reaction, like, all the way to Hyderabad, like, we are in a metro, like we are just 10 minutes away from like one of the best maternity hospitals in this entire eastern region. Like, I know people who are coming from other places to get treated here, and we'll go from here to all the way to Hyderabad. Like, that was my first reaction. It took a bit of time, and she also then told me the backstories and the background, and then I steadily, and especially after we had a chat with you, it became easier to commit to this.
Like swallow it a little bit.
But even for me, the first time she suggested, it was like, that is not happening. Like I don't see the like
And
the.
I think it made us easy for our family to convince because my brother and my
They
sister
just
had
had
already.
it.
Yeah, having a yeah, word of mouth recommendation from somebody, like, in this case from your family,
Correct.
helps a lot, because you don't know what to believe on the internet also. Like
I agree.
people
I
can.
think, and everybody should do that. I always feel like वो due diligence तो अपना ही है. Nobody else can do it. And I think also somewhere along the line you have to trust your gut, right? That will happen only when you actually explore the possibilities. So explore ही नहीं करेंगे तो पता भी नहीं चलेगा. But I think at the end of the day there is no right or wrong answer. Everybody does the best that they can to become a parent, right? But I think a little bit of that, taking that leap of faith, and I think it took a little bit for you to take that leap of faith. No, it's very good. Thank you so much, guys. I'm really, really appreciative of this time that you have spent
Thank
with
you
us.
so
It's a
much.
Sunday afternoon, and I know you're ready to go home. But thank you for spending this time with us.
We had a wonderful time over here.
Thank you so
Wonderful.
much.
And if she's happy, I'm happy.
That's it. See, there you go. He gets extra brownie points for that. Okay. Thank you, guys.
And while